one stone will be left upon another. I want to tell you, you can trust God's teaching about the future. You can trust His Word. And remember the other two questions they asked? When will these things be? In other words, when will Jerusalem be destroyed? And what will be the sign of your coming? And what? And of the end of the age. And He gave them many things. But one thing He said is, learn the parable of what? The fig tree. Oh, we think that technology has all the answers. It's almost as if the Lord is saying, throw every bit of technology away and listen to me. Learn a parable. Learn the parable of the fig tree. I love it when God is so plain. When His Word becomes so real. The fig tree. What is the fig tree? If you study the Bible, you know that the nation of Israel is represented by 3 plants. Can you guess them? The olive tree, the vine, and the fig tree. They represent different aspects of God's relationship with the nation of Israel. But these 3 plants represent the nation of Israel. Nothing could be clearer. You go through the prophets, they'll talk about these. And Jesus said, learn the parable of the fig tree. He says, when its leaf is still tender. I asked the class today, I said, any of you looking at the trees right now? Marla, you probably see a lot of trees in your work as a surveyor. But I'm always looking for those first buds. And when they first bloom this time of year, kind of, okay, a few of them are starting to bud a little bit, maybe, different trees. And when the trees come out and begin to bloom, that first green is so soft, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of a, light, very vibrant, alive, kind of green. And I love that. I love that. I love the fall because of my interest in hunting, and I love the spring. Things begin to come to life. And Jesus said, learn this parable. When you see the leaves begin to appear, and what does it say? You know that He, capital H-E, when you see a capital pronoun in the Bible, that's referencing the Lord. That's referencing God, Jesus. You know that He is near, right at the door. And so, He is getting ready to come back. And what will that be like? The Bible tells us that when He first comes back, He will meet great opposition at the Battle of Armageddon. This will be the end of a terrible period known as the tribulation. But when He comes back, what is He going to do? And if you go through the prophets and read this again and again, and this is what has jumped out at me in reading the major prophets, I am convinced, and I'm more convinced every day that I live, that Jesus Christ is coming back and He is going to make everything right. And the side that I want to be on is the side of Jesus. And it establishes and again teaches us that He is coming and He's going to establish a kingdom, and it's going to morph into eternity. We can talk about the millennial reign, the eternal states, but I don't even want to get that deep into the weeds this morning. And so, when these came to put their faith in Jesus, when something miraculous occurred, and they didn't even have to be baptized, and they couldn't keep the law of Moses, for who has ever kept the law of Moses perfectly? Maybe you can say, well, I've never committed murder. Well, Jesus, and I love the way we misinterpret what Jesus said. Well, Jesus was so easy. Oh, was He? Jesus said that it's not even murder, but if you hate somebody. Jesus said it's not even adultery, but if you lust. In fact, what you're looking at with Jesus' teaching and understanding of the law of Moses is if I had any thought about maybe somehow keeping the Ten Commandments, which I broke that when I was 6 years old and stole my teacher's cigarettes and tried to smoke them in the back of Greenfield Elementary School. I mean, that's gone. That's finished. Yeah. Okay? But if I had any thought of keeping the law, Jesus has come along and said, oh, you think you can keep the law? This is what the law is. And it's not just outward what is taking place, because the Bible says that God looks at the heart. That is a scary, scary thought, is it not? That, I mean, how would you like for your heart and every thought and intent of your heart to be placed on the screen for everyone to watch? I don't know if there'd be any of us that could survive that. I mean, we just have to go out with our head hung low in utter embarrassment. So, these people in these cities have just come to God. And so, he quotes Amos here. And he says, with this, the words of the prophets agree. After these things, I will return. You see, the Bible says Jesus is going to return. And I will rebuild the tabernacle of David, which has fallen. You know, the tabernacle represents a house.